Welcome back to another video. We are going to be talking about the Mace, because inside of 1.20.5 pre-release 1, the Mace has been slightly nerfed in quite a big way. That the Mace itself hasn't, but the Windburst enchantment has. And let's cover why, and then we'll also cover if it's a good thing or a bad thing. So first of all, let's cover what Windburst does if you are not aware. Windburst, when you attack a mob, it will give you the wind charge effect. And change here, inside of older snapshots, you could hit any entity without getting a drop to activate the wind charge effect. Well, the case now is the attack needs to be a strong attack, which is the attack you get from falling more than 5 blocks. So if I was to fall and hit this pig, then we have the wind charge attack. Now, this doesn't really affect much of the Mace. It just affects that first hit, because if we was to get a drop on a warden, and then we was to carry on hitting, we continuously bounce, because we are always falling more than 5 blocks, due to the wind charge effect giving us that height. But this is quite a big nerf for the Mace, because before you could just hit a mob and get an instant shot up into the air to then give your attack. Now you need to do something to give yourself that height, which is why the wind charge comes into play. Now, the way I've learned to get the most height from a wind charge, if you crouch and then you jump as the wind charge hits the floor, you do go quite high, and you need to like time the jump perfectly. It's quite hard to do. So if we do something like this, and we need to get like a decent bit of height and then hit the warden, you can see that we do have that then continuous hit because we had that little bit of height to begin with. But if we just smack the warden, nothing happens, and this will work for pretty much every mob in the game. But I did also upload a video last week where you could hit a boat and get extra height with the wind burst. Well, this has been patched inside of this snapshot as well, and if we hit a boat, nothing happens. Still nothing happens, so it seems like they have removed the ability to punch boats and get windburst completely, which is really weird. Yeah, nothing happens. I wonder what happens if I'm in survival mode. What happens then? Is it because I'm destroying the boat? That wasn't good. Yep, I destroyed the boat, and the boat doesn't count as a hit anymore, which is weird, I guess. So what about things like armor stands? Are armor stands still counted as an entity that you can get windburst from? I wonder if that's the case, or have they removed any unliving entity from that? No, armor stands do still work. So I'm guessing it's just boats and possibly minecarts as well. So let's try if minecarts work, because I'm guessing they probably don't. If they have removed boats from the list, I'm guessing minecarts don't give you the wind burst. It doesn't. Okay, that's interesting to know. So not only have they removed the ability with going higher with boats and minecarts, they have removed the whole wind burst ability with boats and minecarts. So they're the changes with the Mace. Are they good or bad? The boat, I didn't see a problem with it. I think it was just one of them things that was overlooked, but it wasn't like a game-breaking bug. I do have a video covering this on my channel, but all that would happen is when you would hit a boat, you'd go, I think, like 10 blocks, whereas if you hit a normal entity, you go about 3 blocks. So yeah, this wasn't like a game-breaking bug. It was just a way to get a little bit of height for someone who doesn't really know how to use the Mace fully, which has now been patched, so that is no longer the case. As for the Windburst enchantment, the change is good. I definitely think that being able to punch a mob and instantly be shot up into the air was definitely not something that was good. Does it make the enchantment pointless? No, it doesn't, because you do still get the windburst effect. You just need to get a drop as your first hit, which the drop doesn't have to be a massive drop at all. So just to show you, I have summoned a frog here with no AI, and the reason I've summoned a frog is because it has the smallest hitbox that is still like big enough to hit. So if we fall, if we are standing up at 2 blocks and we fall, does this activate the wind burst? And that didn't, but the first time I tried this, it did. You need to hit when you're very close to the ground to get enough height. But if you fall, for example, just an extra block, which is 3 blocks, then you can hit it pretty much every time. You will get the attack where you get the wind burst. Because if we was to change this frog to a warden, and we was to fall once again from this same height, and we was to hit, we do get it. But it depends on like where you hit. You have to hit like the bottom of its hitbox as you're going past that, or you could hit the top and do something like that. But you can't hit straight away because you have to have that full first. If I was to just walk off and hit the warden, you can see I haven't got enough momentum to produce that strong attack. So you have to hit when you're near the floor, and then if I now continuously hit, you can see that we continuously bounce. So the enchantment is still really overpowered, but it makes it a little bit harder to use, because that first attack you have to drop on the mob, and if it's something like the warden, dropping on a warden isn't the smartest thing to do, because if you miss the attack, the warden can pretty much one-shot most players in pretty much any armor. So I don't think it changes the mace that much, just because it's just a minor tweak. There was one more change made to the mace, and this one, it's a big deal in some ways, but at the same time it's not. And all this is, if you hit an entity while falling, so imagine we are falling, we hit this armadillo, the mace full damage will then be reset. Meaning that if I was then hit this armadillo down here, it would then only calculate the damage from that drop, rather than from the drop where I started falling from. Now this is going to be a bit hard to show because I'm not the best at the game, but we're going to try. So we're going to have a husk right there. And then we're also going to have a husk maybe on around this block right here. So we're going to fall, hit this one, and then hit the one below. And see. So let's fall from, I would say, about this height. Let's try this without Windburst. Because with Windburst, you get the knockback effect. And okay, we once again did kill them both. I guess the best way to test this is probably with the warden. So if I was to fall from, I would say, about that height, because that is the height we'd probably fall from, how much damage do we do to the warden? So let's hit you, and we did manage to get it the smash attack. So health-wise, we done 40 health. You can see the health is 460, and the warden has 500. So now we're going to drop from a little bit higher, and we are then going to hit that warden, and then hit the bottom one, and we should do about 40 health. It might be a bit different, but let's quickly just see. So if I get the health for this one again, you can see we done a little bit more, but that is probably because we fell, we got boosted up a little bit when we hit this one. If I quickly just show you that again, you can see that we kind of stutter and bob up a little bit. Whereas if we was to hit this warden from the height we fell originally, we would probably deal a lot more damage. So I've healed it all the way back up to 500, and we fell from about here. So if I was to ignore that warden and straight up hit that one, you can see the health-wise goes to 370. So you can see that it does reset. Now, it's not really that noticeable because, especially if you have Windburst. But that is it for this video. We are getting so close to the release of 1.20.5, which, just a reminder, this will not include the mace outside of experimental toggles. 1.20.5 will only include a load of bug fixes, changes, and then the big features being the armadillo and the wolf. But anyway, if you did enjoy this video, do leave a like and subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next one.